everybody. I'm Meghan McGrogan, the Executive Director of the Greater Utica Chamber of Commerce. Thank you so much for joining us today for our Leveling Up Social Distancing series. If you're just tuning in, this is going to be the 29th episode of these episodes that we've done to really make sure that you're in touch with all of our area businesses and organizations as we're dealing with this pandemic locally. So it's really important to stay in touch and support all of our local businesses. So this is just a great way for you to find out what's going on with all of them during this time. So today we have a little bit of a different show. So we are not only going to highlight two great companies that are in our area, but we're going to talk about a really cool campaign that our companies have come together to put on. And this is called our Feed Our Frontline Families initiative. So I'm really excited this morning to have with me Fred, Matt, and Greg Evans. Fred is from the Saranac Brewery and Greg Evans is from Indium. So welcome, guys.
How are you, Megan?
Morning, Megan. Hey, Fred.
How are you?
Great. Good to see you.
So I'm going to start off with Fred. So Fred, just really quickly, give us an overview. Everybody knows the brewery, but just tell everybody what you guys do there, and then we'll have Greg do the same before we get into talking about this great initiative that we've started.
So the brewery is a local company. We make Saranac beer, Utica Club, Saranac soft drinks. We have about 135 employees. And what I'm probably most proud about during this pandemic is that we have committed to all of our employees that we are going to keep them safe, healthy, happy, and fully employed. And so far, we've been able to do that. Yes, we have gotten the Paycheck Protection Program, but the way our sales are, which are not very good, it is challenging for all of us, but we feel as a family company it's really important to keep all our employees working, and we are doing that.
Sure. And Greg, do you want to tell us a little bit about Indium?
Sure, thanks. Like as Fred said, so we're another locally based company here in Utica. We've got about 670 or so employees here in the Mohawk Valley that about 150, 160 of them working from home for the last 7-8 weeks, and 500 plus show up every day, get our safety screenings, temperature taking, those kind of things. Actually, Fred and our president, Ross Burnson, worked really diligently on a program that we rolled out for a lot of companies around, actually now around the world. The countries are adopting that pledge that they created, so it's pretty good. Again, as you probably as obvious, we are still operating. We supply materials for electronics, semiconductor industries globally, and we're really excited about this program specifically, Megan. This is it's a great thing that you guys are doing. Thanks.
Thanks, Greg. And if you guys want to check out more about that manufacturing pledge, I did do an episode with Ross where he goes into a great detail on what that is. And I think that's a great thing that, both of your companies have come together and joined many other companies in our region to really set the standards for safety, and not only for your employees, but so our community can feel confident that, as business owners, that you are doing all you can to make sure that we're all safe. So please go check out that episode if you want to learn more about that great manufacturing pledge that's really adaptable to any business, in my opinion. There's pieces you can take too.
But just to jump in on that, Megan, because Indium's done a great job of leading that, is that and we have all signed this manufacturer's pledge. I think there's 24 of us in the group, and I think that we're up to like 18 that have signed it. And really what it is, it's best practices, and we all pledge to make sure that we are managing our businesses in a safe and effective way so that we can keep operating, but also our employees are safe. And the thing that I am probably most proud about as a group is that our numbers are so much better than national numbers, county numbers, in keeping people safe. And I think that that's a real tribute to the group. Ross, who's led it and done an awesome job as our leader, but it has been picked up, as Greg pointed out, across the nation and across the world. And it's really cool because I always like to say that all paths lead back to Utica, New York, whether it's people going out or coming back in. But this is a great community and we do great things.
Sure.
Right on, Freddie.
Yeah, and one of those other great things that we've all come together to do, and if you're watching, you'll notice a theme throughout a lot of our shows here that, people are coming together and partnering on great things that they're doing for our community, and Feed Our Frontline Families is another one of those examples. I think our community, and I said in a little letter that I did a couple weeks ago to our membership, our community comes together in times like this. And really always comes together and just answers the call and answers, responses to challenges. And,
Right.
I think that is so important and what makes our area so special. So Feed Our Frontline Families is one of those, another example. And, we really got started on this with the brewery, with Fred and the Community Foundation. And then we've gotten some other partners like Indium and some others like the Fountainhead Group, Human Technologies. We've gotten some great partners involved. And really, we've kind of surpassed our initial goal, which now we're saying our new goal is $100,000. We've raised about $70,000 so far, and we've delivered today. We're going to be delivering another 400. So we've delivered almost 1,000 gift cards. So Fred, tell us about how the initiative got started, why it's important to the brewery, and then Greg, I'd like you to do the same about why it's important that you give back.
So for me, I was working out in my cellar. Normally at this time, I'm running with Greg Evans, who is a little faster than me sometimes.
Not true.
But I saw this thing in Washington, D.C., where a woman had gone to local restaurants and bought meals to then give to frontline workers. And I just thought it was really cool for two reasons. One, our business is affected by restaurants, and local restaurants have been the backbone of our business for years. And then the Matt family has been very involved in St. E's, really, but now Mohawk Valley health system. My great-grandfather was on the board and a big investor in the hospital. And then my grandfather and my Uncle Kemper, my Uncle Nick, I was on it with Greg. And I just think when you work with the hospital system here, it is a tremendous hospital system. And it is, you get the best health care, you get people that are really passionate about what they do. And I loved being part of that community and part of the board. And so that when I saw the issues that we were all faced as a local community, restaurants being closed and the hospital workers being pushed to limits, that was something that I just really wanted to help. And then we've also gotten involved the public safety. And in 2008, we had a massive fire that did about $14 million worth of damage, shut us down for 41 days. And, it's really a tribute to them that we have a brewery today. And so to be able to give back to the hospital and public safety, to me, just was really important. And my grandparents always used to tell us that, for those that have been given much, much is expected. And that just is, we are fortunate as a family, and if we can give back, we should. And that's really what was the driving force.
Yeah, and I can speak to that too, Fred. And as I mentioned, we did a radio interview last week, and working for the brewery. For those of you who know a little bit about me, actually, the tavern's right above me too. I just realized that. For those of you who know a little bit about me, you may know that I was a employee of the brewery. I worked with Fred for about 7.5 years, and then in my college days, I was also a tour guide. So the brewery is very near and dear to me, but one of the things that I'm very grateful for, I grew up in a family where public service and community service was very important, but that also was driven home when I was an employee of the brewery, because you guys are so community minded, and that is a big focus of what I did in my work there. So really, I took that with me as well. And, in my current job, obviously I work with a lot of community, organizations and community businesses. And the chamber, is managing a lot of this program, but we're not really taking anything from this. This is surely, this money and these donations are going 100% back to the frontline workers. So the time really is what we're investing into it. And it's just so important that we really, support the businesses, but also make sure that these families have food on their table. So I'll just echo a little bit of what you said, Fred, because I learned that working at the brewery as well. And Greg, so Indium, you guys are involved in this initiative. You also did our Take Out the Virus campaign. And it's very important to you as well. Not only did Indium make a contribution, but Bill McCartney made a contribution as well. So really speaks to the culture that you guys have at Indium. So tell us about that.
Oh, well, thanks, Megan. This is my 39th year here at Indium Corporation. The culture is so strong. It's such an important part of everything we are. And I know many companies feel this way, and it's so true for each company to have their own vibe and their own way they think about things. Here at Indium, we call it the Indium way. The main tenets are respect, appreciation, and achievement. And we really think that cuts across the spectrum of things that are important in life and important for people to do for each other. Mm-hmm. It's something that, I learned probably day two here in 1981. And we work hard to promote that. And this is one way that we can do that. Most of our customers, as you guys know, are outside the area, and most of them outside the U.S. We make a lot of stuff here. We ship a lot of things across the globe. And but the things that are happening here, Mac has always told me, he said, do what you can where you are. And we try to do that every place we are. It's here in Chicago and Singapore and the UK and Korea, in China. We try to, affect and be a positive force in those places. And that's clearly a measure of respect that we have, and that we want to encourage each other to have. And here, as Fred said, I currently sit on the board of MVHS and, started that back years ago at St. E's with Fred. It is such a powerful, positive, working hard, trying to figure it out organization, and has been that way for so long. And so it's great to find a way to give back. And I think it's also just a positive message about the strength. As when we started this, I talked about the fact that we're an essential business. We're supplying these materials to companies that are making ventilators, as an example. So it's something that is another way for us to demonstrate to our employees how important it is to give and to be part of a solution, and to help out. And as I said before too, the people we end up giving to here are our neighbors, our friends, the places we go and want to go back to dearly. I can't wait for my next bowl of soup at Simeon's. Those things are just really important for us to keep doing and keep going. So I do think it speaks to the way we want to be. And so this is a great way that we can kind of do that.
Sure. And, if you guys are listening and inspired by what these guys are saying and giving back to the community, so there's a couple ways that you can give. Obviously, Indium and Saranac are some corporate partners of ours, but, you really can give in other ways too. Even if you can only afford $5 or $10, for instance, you can go on and make a donation. And those have really added up. Like I mentioned, last week we delivered 460 gift cards. Those went to the hospital system. We also delivered them to the Utica Police Department and the Utica Fire Department. Later today, Greg and Fred are actually going to hit the road with me. Of course, very socially distanced. We're going to make sure that we deliver these cards to some more people. So we're going to hit the hospital again. And then we're also hitting some areas that I think are really important to keep in mind during this time. So one of those is palliative care. It's a really difficult time for people to be grieving and lose loved ones and be at the end of life. Families aren't able to be together. Grieving and services are really tough at this time. So we're going to hit hospice and Abraham House. And then we're also going to hit the House of Good Shepherd and Insight House and some other programs with Helio Health. And I think those programs are important too because they cover substance abuse and also some youth issues that are going on right now too. So we're not just hitting, the hospital, your traditional frontline workers you would look at when you see all the posters and everything, but we're really trying to hit as many restaurants and as many frontline workers as possible. So we are going to be now today up to 30 restaurants that we've spent, a significant amount of money in. So it's a really great initiative. Again, if you guys want to make a donation, you can go to feedourfrontlinefamilies.com. We've made it really turnkey and simple for you to remember that. They all go through our partner, the Community Foundation, and the Community Foundation is managing those funds and helping us to make sure that they get out in the community as well. And then, if you want to be a corporate partner, we would welcome that as well. We've had some great people join in with Saranac, Indium, us, the Community Foundation. Of course, I already mentioned the Fountainhead Group, Human Technologies. Ed and Ed has done some printing donation for us. Dupli has also done some printing donation for us. So we've had a lot of great partners come together. And again, we're not stopping, right, Fred, until we reach that 100,000. Anything else you guys want to comment on? Anything I missed that you wanted to cover this morning?
I think you've done a wonderful job. Thank
Okay.
you, Megan.
Greg, anything else?
No, just write a check.
Okay.
Thank you. Thanks so much for the support, Megan, Fred.
Yeah.
It's great. Now see you guys this afternoon.
Yeah. See
Absolutely.
you at 1:30.
And if they want to learn more, of course, Saranac.com is the brewery's website. Greg, what's the Indium website?
It's indium.com.
Okay, so very easy to remember, Indium.com, Saranac.com, and of course, if you want to make one of those donations, again, it's feedourfrontlinefamilies.com. You can find out all the program details on there and make your tax-deductible donation, and we are so excited to be hitting the road this afternoon with you guys, and we'll be sure to post pictures of all of that. And if you want to see last week's numbers, make sure you check out all of our Facebook pages. I believe every partner is pretty much posted it at this point. And of course, you can find out more information at greateruticachamber.org. So guys, thank you so much for joining me, and we'll see you this afternoon.
Great.
Okay.
Look forward
Take
to
care.
it. Thank you, Megan.